1 month ago, I started playing Street Fighter V. A friend asked me to enter a tournament, I joined in, and did pretty okay, but ended up losing a few rounds in the loser's bracket. But after that experience, I realized just how fun the game could be, and since I had nothing else to do as I waited for Guilty Gear Strive, I figured now would be a good time to spend the next month training and trying to improve at Street Fighter V. The first character I picked up was Alex. He has simple inputs, command grabs, big damage, a lot of the things I like in characters personally. So going with this, I played some ranked, kind of got a feel for the character. I learned a lot of the systems of the games, such as using V-trigger and what each of those things did, and a little bit of how combos work, though not many. And that got me about halfway through bronze, not super bronze included. And I was able to just peak and hit really early silver bronze, like 1000 RP. But I would always lose my matches once I was there and get sent back down. After losing repeatedly, it was time for a change. I decided I would embrace the auto and play Akuma. This was a mistake, not a mistake. I really don't know because things did not get better. I died and lost a lot more, took a lot more damage, and generally got shit on by everybody in bronze for about a week. Although I do think playing Akuma helped a lot more with my fundamentals, because it gave me a different way of playing the game and it forced me to think differently than I do when I'm playing a grappler. That is to say, it forced me to think at all in the first place. Despite the massive improvement I felt I got during the second week while I was playing as Akuma, by the end of it I felt like it was time to switch it up and play a different character to try and get a different view on the way the game was played, and hopefully I could bring that back to my Akuma. Especially because I was still getting dropped and could barely stay in Super Bronze at this point. It is now week 3 and I have decided to pick up Seth. This is mostly just because Seth just looks cool. They have like the spin kick, all the cool combos, they can teleport, they got the move steal. They just looked really fun, and so I decided to pick them up. I know a lot of people might just be like, how is Seth supposed to help you improve considering they are a bit of a dumb character, but you know, it's fine. And I do feel like I learned a lot from my experience playing the character. For one, Seth's increased range and really solid normals really helped me change how I space things, and helped me figure out how to use better range attacks. On top of this, my lack of a fireball to rely on really forced me to play a bit more footsies and learn a bit more about the game. For instance, the lack of a solid projectile made me focus a lot more on spacing my normals and figuring out ways to bait people into a combo. It wasn't my intent to permanently main sets, but instead to pick up skills that hopefully I can bring back to Akuma or to a new main as I try out more characters throughout the game. I didn't necessarily make it out of bronze here, I still floated in and out of super bronze, but I feel like I was getting a lot more solid and a lot more consistent, and I could feel myself getting a lot closer to really pushing through the barrier of super bronze. Long before the 4th week, I decided to main Akuma instead of Alex. Now, after playing a week of Seth, I figured now was the time to go back to Akuma and see how much I could apply what I learned. During this 4th week, I feel like all my hard work up until now really paid off, and I managed to safely and assuredly make it into Super Bronze. On top of this, I felt like my play was a lot solid due to my experience grinding ranked and also just playing some 1v1s on discords and friendlies and things like that, which really got me some good matchup experience against some really solid players. On top of this, I also picked up Gil just a little bit during this time. He's not nearly as good as my Akuma, but seeing the parry clips on YouTube was just really cool, so I wanted to get a little bit of experience in trying him out. I think over the next few weeks I want to practice my Gil combos and maybe have him as a secondary to Akuma. All in all though, I definitely call this past month definitely a success, because I feel like being able to go back and look at how I was at the beginning and seeing where I am now, I really feel like I've improved a lot, and I feel like I've managed to get a lot out of this experience. I feel like this has kind of prepared me for Guilty Gear Strive, especially because oftentimes I'll have a little bit of worry or like lack of confidence in my ability to improve and actually get better over time. So doing this where I took the time to try to get better, and I also gave myself the time to reflect on where I was and where I'm at now. I feel like that's really important, and I feel like that's actually something that a lot of people might want to start doing, so that way they can really acknowledge how far they've come.